So welcome gal back to Let's Unleashed. This is going to be my first guide that I will make about this game. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about everything you want to know about how to get the best gear from the time you start and then till endgame. S tier, mythic, everything you have to know. I will talk about it today, where to get it, and how to even you know what, let's not talk about enhancing, because enhancing it's just completely different thing. Okay, why am I not voting? Oh, something's wrong. Okay, while my game glitches. Okay, there we go. What can you do? Okay, so the first thing you do in once you start the game is after you go to the prologue and that little bit of tutorial when they start the story quest line and that stuff, you will be thrown into kind of this region. I mean, you will be thrown exactly in this region depending on your server, and you will have to do few quests. You will be done with, I will highly suggest do every one of those side quests if you can. Do all those quests. If there's a main story quest line you will pick up, just pick it up, do everything you can as best you can, and then come down. There will be a quest probably for killing these wolves. It's fine, just kill them. If you die, it does not matter, you will be spawned back on this soul pyre, just like I mentioned in the previous video. It's fine if you die. It's not a big deal. Do those quests, you will get some random gear that you can choose. Those will of course not be the best gear or anything you like, but this is gonna be a starter. And then you can go maybe you can go to your stable to see if you have any mount. If you don't, you can go to this letterbox here, that which will be just in this area. You can go to this letterbox and probably you will be receiving some good rewards. Another thing you can do is you can make an online account for the Let's Unleashed, which will give you a 1 week free premium account for this game. You can go to your character selection, and you can press Z on your bottom right corner. It tells you how to do it. So it will prompt you to go to a random Google Chrome page, and then or any browser. You can go to online, make a account, and then you will have premium for 1 week. Now premium will help you with a lot of things. There are a lot of passive buffs that you can have, and there are a lot of active things that premium gives you, like PvP XP gain, PvE XP gain. You get more gold, you get more things, you get more loot, you get better loot, and the best of them all, nice, I just love the truck passing by whenever I'm recording. Whatever, the best thing you can get is the backspace. The backspace when you start is a bitch. It is just so hard to manage your space, because the only space right now I have 110 after I have explored all of the map. See, I have explored all of the map, and after exploring all of this, collecting, doing all that grind, I have 110 space. I mentioned what is space in my last video, so you should watch it. Plus it's really good if you're just starting off with the game. So after you have done those first few quests, you will see this soul pyre here. Once you get here, you will unlock the soul pyre, and now when you die in this closest region, then you will be respawned here. Maybe there will be few quests, I don't remember, I did it 2 weeks ago and my memory is really short. Okay, and then you will see your first boss. Depending on your luck, maybe there will be some guys who will be defeating this, and this is how you will get one of your best gears once you're starting, because once you kill this boss, you will receive a chest, a Wolf King chest, which is for every boss. They have their own unique chest and unique set of gears that you can get for every class. So once you defeat the Wolf King to the best of your abilities, you will get that chest, and maybe if you're lucky you will get a random drop. Use that random drop if it's better than your previous one. To equip anything, you just press escape and then go your bag, and then here you can switch through your gear. You can wear anything. just whatever you get, if it's better than, if it's showing green, if it's better than before, just equip it. Another way you can know if the gear is better is, first thing you can straight off know if the attack is more for this, and if it's random gear armor, you can know if it's the defense is better. Or you can just check if this gear score has better value or not. The better gear score at most times will be better than the less gear score, unless there are some buffs that involves, which you will see in the late game. So this is how you get this is one of your way to get your gear. The second it is a RNG way, when you kill enemies randomly in the open world PvE, you will have a chance to get some gear, but those gear are not really good at all times. So once you're done there, you will be taken through the storyline and you will appear at the harbor. Once you appear at harbor, before you go there, there will be a bunch of side quests and main quests going on. I will highly suggest you have to do them all and then progress through the story. Do main quest, go ahead. If the main quest went too far away, if you're in this region and your main quest is in this city, it's asking you to just go into the city, just go back, see if you have any side quests remaining. To easily see if you have side quests or any other type of quest remaining, you can come to map and then press X. It will prompt you this screen. You can follow down and then you can click on individual quest and it will show those individual quests on the map. Otherwise you can just press side quests, and then whatever side quests you have in the whole map, it will just prompt them green, so you can easily see them. So do those side quests. Most of the time gives you potions, armor and weapons, and even if the gear is bad, it's still fine, because you will have to salvage that gear at the soul pyre in order to get artifacts, which you will use in the late game in order to enhance your gear, which is really important. So do not delete anything you get if you don't know what it is. First get to know it and then you delete it. Okay, once you come into the city, now this is where the real fun begins. The actual fun of the game, it begins when you first land in your first city. By the way, one thing I forgot to mention in my previous game, which you might have visually seen, you can use these teleports. It's throughout the map. Everywhere you go, every place, every boss has it. It's scattered throughout the map, and this is probably the best thing to travel, and this is how you will be traveling once you unlock this. This is a really neat feature that Blast Unleashed has, because you don't have to imagine if you have a quest here and you picked up that quest from there and you have to walk all the way there. Yeah, that's not happening. That's just not right. Everybody will leave the game. So this is your best bet, and it does not cost that much. For me, it's costing 3,000, but when you start the game, it will be really low. Once you progress to the game, once your levels gets up, the cost will become higher up. But as you see, it's just 3,000. I am level 34 at the moment, and if you look at my gold, I have more than 4 million, and gold is not a scarce thing. I have a ton of gold and you won't be using much of it. Yeah, so the one thing you will have to take care of is the seed. This is like the real currency of the game that you have to use in the market to buy stuff and sell stuff. Which takes us to our next thing. The next thing you can get better gear. One of the best gear you will get is through your side quests and main quests that will give you your weapons, your armor and stuff. Another way you can get gear is obviously you just buy it. You come to the market, you get into the market, purchase, and then you have weapons here. You have weapons for every class. You can buy any of them, but you will only be able to use your class. You have offhand weapons and you have armor. Depending on your class, you have different armors. For me, it's leather armor, so you can see I can buy literally every type of gear. See, it's mythic and it's an SD. I can even buy this, but of course, yes, you can see it costs 10 million. almost 10 billion. So that is one of the ways, that is actually one of the best ways you can buy your gear before crafting, because crafting in this game you can just start off early in. I will not suggest crafting your starter gear and stuff because it's not that worth. You will probably get better loot in the random drops in the first off, but once you're done, I will suggest once you have done all of these 4 regions, after this ruins of Tristeza, this is probably where now you will get to see the random drop you get is not enough to defeat PvE or PvP. Before you go to these other places, you might want to get better gear for them, better higher gear, high score. So at this point in game, you want to start grinding. This is where you start grinding. You will do marketing, you will do everything you have to do to make up as much star seed as you can. You need all of that star seed so you can buy A tier gear in the market, because I think at the moment in the game, from all the storyline I have played, the A tier gear is legendary. A tier gear is all you need to defeat current PvE. So once you have this, but this gear you can only buy from the market. You can buy it for cheaper, like if you see a blue tier piece or a purple tier piece for 20,000 or 30,000 with good stats, you can buy it off the market and then you can upgrade it to the legendary on your own using those these 2 things that I mentioned before, which you get after salvaging things and sometimes in random loots. Now once you're in this state, where I am, this is where you have to focus on your crafting. Now the crafting is a bit different. I won't go highly into the crafting of this game, but let's just see let's just have an overview of how the crafting works. So the crafting in this game, you just need to go to your respective workbench. There are different workbenches for every class. You have to go to your class. For berserker and crusader, it's blacksmith. For ranger, it's shaping workbench. For priest, it's enchanter's wheel, and for mage, it is alchemical station. So the first thing you will be working on is your shaping workbench, just like Soulfire, which has levels, which will give you different recipes depending on how much your level is. As you can see on an update list, there are a lot of recipes that I don't have because they requires a greater level, and my level is just level 8. You can see from the bottom. So you get levels simply by crafting stuff. Anything you craft has different XP that you will get, and it will increase your levels to unlock new recipes. Bear in mind, there are some recipes that actually requires a different type of stuff, like in cooking. Now this green stuff is opened for me, but I need a separate recipe for this. These recipes have different ways to get. You can get it through random drops, you can buy it off the market, or you can do special quests to get them. Now if I go to my shaping workbench, you can see it's just like Soulfire. It has different recipes that's available to me, and then there are a lot of recipes that are blocked for me because I don't have level for them. So in order to level this, you have to craft a lot of stuff. If it's your main workbench, the best thing you can craft is probably these crafting materials. Once you know the game, you will come to know what is the best thing to craft in order to gain your XP. For if you're a ranger, I will give you a tip. Once you start off the game, start crafting these pants. It only requires 10 leather, and once you progresses, you can start crafting flexible lumber once you're in the ruins of Tristeza. That will give you the 50 XP. That extra 5 is from a buff, which we'll talk about later on in some other guides. Once your gear score, once your level is like level 6 or 7, I think, you can start crafting some rare stuff, so you get a bit more XP from them. So once your XP is enough, you will be able to craft different weapons. Now the best thing to craft in the game is probably the S tier. The S tier is the best tier in the game that you can get. Now this is what you are supposed to do. Once you have that A tier, now you can start looking towards the S tier, depending on what you actually require, because every bow, every weapon has different stats, and those stats are what matters. You need those extra stats to determine which gear you actually want. What is your defensive style? For me, I am more heavily focused on attack power, because I'm a ranger. I don't need more defenses, I don't need more health, I need raw power as much as I can get. Or if you're a different type of guy, you can go for the critical hit damage. If you feel like you're dying too much, you can increase your defense, or you can get this bow which increases your health. It all depends on your playstyle, but this is how you want to craft. You have to select your gear, then you will see that every gear requires a prerequisite gear. Once you see that prerequisite gear, go to that prerequisite gear and see what does that require. And now this one requires a heartsticker bow, so you will go to that bow, and this is the first thing you have to craft. In order to craft that legendary weapon, I need to craft this bow. Once I have this, I can craft the next tier, which is blue natural bow, and then I can craft the legendary gear. Now if you can, start working on your workbench as soon as you start, because it's a really time taking process. So as by the time you have a gear, you probably will have your workbench upgraded to level 11, and then there is a different way which will give you some quest in order to upgrade your workbench to level 12, and then you can start working on finding that specific recipe for your bow, so you can craft that piece of armor or a piece of bow, which in my mind is the best gear you can get in this game, is by crafting an S tier and then enchanting that, so you can get the mythical or better stats on that gear. Now another way to get some good gear is by doing these quests, like regional quests. These are scattered all throughout the map. You can press X on your map, and then you can do this, and then you will see, as you can see, every regional quest has different reward. It depends on what do you need. There are some tricks which you can go for these quests. As you can see, these faces are actually bosses. So as you can see, in these bosses have different tier of loot. Currently the best boss is here, the bone dragon. Where did it go? Yeah, so here in this area, as you can see, it had a purple chest. This is the best boss in the whole game, that gives you the best tier, the best gear you can get. But as of right now, I haven't seen anyone defeating this boss. Now how the boss fights happen is, because the boss fights are in open world, you have other players with you, so most of the time you will be queuing up, I mean not queuing up, you will be ganging up with 20 or 30 other players that will randomly come depending on your luck to defeat a boss. You can go with them and then you can defeat them. There are bosses you can defeat alone, like this. These are probably the ones kind of bosses you will want to defeat alone, but that comes in the later game when you have a really good gear. Otherwise, just see if somebody else is defeating that boss, and then you can go for that boss. But the gear you can get from this is not better than the gear you get from the crafting. All of this comes before you have that A gear. Once you get that A gear from the market, you don't want to do these quests, because these quests won't give you better gear than that A rank. These quests will always give you B rank, C rank, with worse stats than before. One thing you can start to look for is to look for the gathering gear. Depending on the time and your luck, you will be able to get different gears. These regional quests are not permanent. These regional quests will reset. Even if you do it, you can do it only once in that time. As you can see, time remaining after 44 minutes, this quest will go, something else will come, and it will have a different word. So after you have A gear, or before that, you can try to look for the gathering gear. It will say gathering and then it will be different gear. You can have I have some of that gear. As you can see, these I have gathering headdress, which will increases my gathering speed by 6.7%. You can get that for every one piece of your armor and maybe even this second weapon. So that will help you in collecting resources, in collecting other stuff throughout the map. So I think this is it. These are all the ways you can get the best gears. Oh yeah, one more thing, you can actually go to your matchmaking, and here you can see there are different types of bosses you can defeat. These are dungeons. You have dungeons you can defeat, 2-man dungeons, 5-man dungeons, and then you have time dungeons that you can actually defeat to get some better gear. Dungeons will drop random drops, and they will also drop a chest which will give you a lot of better gear. Now, other than crafting, the dungeons are the best way to get the best gear. You can even get, if depending on the difficulty, you can even get an S tier version of the weapon you have. Bear in mind, these dungeons will only give you your class rewards. The armor and weapon you will get will be applicable to your class. You won't get any other class. You don't have to worry about that. You can get your weapons, you can get these extra things, you can get mounts, you can get recipes, you can get random materials, and you can get a lot of other, you can even get mythic gear, but that comes in the level 35 time dungeon, which is supposedly the hardest at the moment. Another way is, just like dungeons, there are PvP aspect. I mentioned in the previous video, and I will probably mention in my next video. Is you will get some random drop and a chest every day 5 times if you win in the PvP game, which will also drop you some good loot. You can only get 5 rewards every day through dungeons, so you have to choose which dungeon you want to do, because after that 5 rewards you won't get anything except random drops. You won't get any chest. Now chest will always give you good reward. If you want to see what kind of rewards that dungeon is dropping, you can come here, you can press F or just click on it, and here you can see you have a chance to get all of these rewards. So yeah, I guess this sums up this video. These are the best and the only possible ways to get your gear loot. Bear in mind, you have to do it progressively. You can't just start off the game and go get into crafting and hope that you get the best gear. These are the mistakes that I made. I didn't know what to do, and I spent a lot of times wandering around. And one more tip I will give you in the end is, always do your side quest. Do not leave side quest lying around just because main quest is giving more XP, because after some time, main quest will get a lot harder. Your gear score will be really low, and the main quest will eventually require a higher gear score, and you will do 5-10 damage to that monster when you are supposed to do 10,000. So always do your side quests so you can level up easily and get better loot. You will get potions, and you will get a lot of other rewards that you actually need throughout the game. So always do your side quest before you do your main quest. So this sums up the video. I see you in the next video.